And it's raining again today. I guess we'll start expecting more rain and possibly snow when it gets colder. I know there's some people that absolutely hate it. And what did I read today? Actually reading this title at first made me wonder if this was the fear. Kids flying drones, like say in a park and getting mugged. Because I know a lot of people say if they want to introduce things like a remote ID everywhere where anyone can see who's flying, people will probably use it just to mug people. Although it wasn't as I expected. This one here says, Honolulu police say boy 15 robbed while flying drone at Ala Park. The Honolulu Police Department said a male suspect allegedly threatened a 15-year-old boy with a box cutter and took his money at Ala Park on Sunday. The robbery occurred shortly after 2:35 p.m. Police said the teen was flying his drone inside the park when an unknown male threatened him with a box cutter and demanded money. He fled the scene with an undisclosed amount of cash. Police said there was no arrest at this time. So it kind of reads as if the guy didn't want the drone or he had no clue that a drone was in the air and instead decided to take whatever money the kid had. And it makes you think, is this kind of a situation that people fear? Where if they want to introduce, let's just say, over-the-top regulations of people flying toys, you can track them anywhere, anyone can see exact locations. Will people do stuff like this? Track down exactly where's that kid flying and then take whatever they have in terms of their property and drones and all that. Although with this story, I thought the most interesting thing was the comments. It seems like a lot of people were advocating for violence, which you shouldn't do. And with the comments too, reading this one kind of reminds me how it happens so much when it comes to topics like these. There's always people who come out trying to be like gurus of sort for some odd reason, although the replies are interesting. Like this guy here, this guy says, since it is against the law to fly a drone that close to Honolulu Airport, perhaps the suspect was doing him a favor. Now people were arguing, for example, it's not close to an airport, but then the guy says, sorry, but according to the FAA drone zone, it is. Might be good if drone operators actually knew the law about where and when they can fly. And I like the response. Like this person says, good lord, that is your takeaway from this story? That the kid was flying a drone in the park and not that he was robbed at knife point? People like you are the problem. I kind of agree with that. When you talk about things like safety and all that, I often say rules and regulations like that should actually help everyone. You can't just use over-the-top sensational examples like just say here theoretically it's, oh no, you're flying there, you're going to crash into an airplane. Is that going to be realistic? But then you completely ignore the fact where like here the person's getting attacked and all that. Shouldn't that be a factor when you think about it? And this was kind of interesting with all that news about Facebook changing to Meta, people being worried about their privacy policies. How about this one here? It says, an update on our use of face recognition. We're shutting down the face recognition system on Facebook. People who've opted in will no longer be automatically recognized in photos and videos, and we will delete more than 1 billion people's individual facial recognition templates. This change will also impact automatic alt text, which create image descriptions for blind and visually impaired people. After this change, AAT descriptions will no longer include the names of people recognized in the photos, but will function normally otherwise. We need to weigh the positive use cases for facial recognition against growing societal concerns, especially as regulators have yet to provide clear rules. I'm actually curious of how many people actually knew the site was doing stuff like this in general. I would imagine the mass majority didn't realize their facial recognition data and stuff like that were being stored and tracked in this manner. Interesting note too, they're still referring to themselves as Facebook instead of Meta. Will people actually get used to that name? Will probably require like a completely new generation of people to stop calling them Facebook instead. Looks like there's no flying today. I guess it's time for the archive. Alright, see you guys later.